Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Victoria 3 as Austria. So, last part we focused on sort of trying to get our economy started, and we'll probably still be focusing that mostly for this part. The big thing really for us is we're probably not going to be going to war a whole lot until we form Germany, more or less. Once we form Germany, we can kind of go ham from that point forward. I mean, there's small wars that we can do. I mean, the reality is taking over Moldova could be helpful. They have iron mines and logging camps, two resources that are very important for us, particularly for construction. More so the iron mines and the logging camp, but hey, we'll take what we can get. But the thing is, invading Moldova, well, it looks like we're going to have to go to war with Prussia for that, but it also means going to war with Wallachia down here, which I don't mind doing. Similar reasons, they have iron mines. They also have coal mines, which are very helpful as well. And they have sulfur mines, again, also very helpful. But the reality is, I don't think there's a good way for us to do this. Okay, so if we try to conquer Moldova outright, Prussia is predicted to join on Moldova's side, which means fighting Prussia, which I don't want to fight right now. However, if I go the route of a transfer subject, we are potentially fighting just the Ottomans, Moldavia, and Wallachia. Prussia could, of course, still decide to intervene on their side, but they're not predicted to join on their side, is the big thing. But I don't think we want to do that right this second. We could, of course, invite Russia to join us if the Ottomans decide to actually follow through with supporting Moldavia. If we're lucky, they actually just say, no, you're on your own, because they're not actually required to support them. Technically speaking, I had that happen in one of my test games with this version of the game, where the Ottomans just said, no, you're on your own. Although, granted, by that point, I was Austria-Hungary, and I think I'd already won my leadership play against Prussia. So that also probably kind of skewed things a little bit. They also lost a fair bit of land to Egypt. If I recall correctly, it was Ankara that they lost. And I think taking Tripolitania in that campaign rather than taking Montenegro, because I figured I can just take Montenegro later. Oh, we got a new guy in charge of the industrialists. He's a moderate, so he has 0 stances for, you know, what that's worth. This guy was cautious diplomat. He was an authoritarian, the previous guy. So he, of course, supported things like oligarchy, autocracy, single-party state, outlawing dissent, and strongly endorsed secret police. He somewhat supported National Guard. So, look, yeah, as a result of sort of losing the industrialist support, which we had before, we've lost a little bit on success chance for National Guard. Not enough to matter, realistically. This should still move to adoption the next time it ticks around. But, yeah, we're not gonna... It might take a little bit longer. Maybe. It shouldn't, but maybe. Maybe it does. And hide the ongoing diplomatic actions because I don't really need to see them. There we go. It moved to adoption like I expected it to. There we go. We got those tool factories going. That'll help us out. Wood's actually also kind of expensive. So again, Moldavia is a good place to invade. Just saying. Oh, I think we also need lead factories, actually, now that I think about it as well, for Those percussions, resources, lead mines. Do we actually even have any lead mines? I don't think we do. No. No, I don't think we do. Oh, no, we do actually. We have 2. Never mind. I don't think they're doing a whole hell of a lot, though, because I don't think much uses lead right now. I think we can leave those be for right now. You know what? Minimize that for a second. I need to look at some stuff real quick. Who really needs wine and liquor? The upper strata really, really love their wine. They've got a bit of a taste for liquor, but they're more of a wine people. Similar story it looks like with the middle strata. While it's pretty close, but it is the inverse with the lower strata. They kind of prefer just their usual liquor compared to their wine. So you know what? Just because we need the money, which isn't strictly true, we don't actually need it, but hey, whatever justification we need to pass it, right? We're gonna put a consumption tax on wine, not liquor. Feel free to buy standard old liquor, you know, buy your whiskey and, you know, shit like that, but no wine unless you want to pay the tax, which is helpful because then we can raise our budget. We can say, hey, military, I see that some of you guys are poor. You know, if we go back here and look, our servicemen, they're in the lower strata. Some of them are struggling. In fact, some in northern Italy are apparently starving. Which isn't great. So, yeah, you guys are impoverished. Some of you are starving in northern Italy. Fair, if you are struggling, you got some food, but it's maybe not quite enough. So we're going to go ahead and increase the budget for the armed forces. This is helpful for us for 2 reasons. Well, not 2 reasons, multiple reasons. It improves morale recovery. It improves force prestige from army power projection. And of course, the armed forces like us more. And if the armed forces like us more, we get patriotic fervor. We already have it. This just kind of helps us keep it locked down. I say that though, but I think we're already maxed out on opinion, which I think is 20 is the max. So it's not strictly needed technically, actually. Maybe we reconsider this. Do we maybe go for government wages, improve our authority, and make the intelligentsia like us a little bit again? The petite bourgeoisie are also already basically maxed out, so that's kind of irrelevant. So it'd mostly be benefiting getting the intelligentsia on side. But I think that might be worthwhile, actually. If we can get the intelligentsia, where do we need to get them to? We need to get them to -2, which we're not going to be able to do with this, because the most it improves it is by 2. But we can improve wages, however. So, okay, military wages only impacts military wages, which is going to be for things like, well, the obvious. If we go here, armed forces and officers are the only ones that's going to benefit. Which, I mean, again, has its uses, of course, to do so, but doesn't really matter significantly in that regard. While if we improve government wages, this goes towards people like bureaucrats, clerks, laborers, academics. If we go here, clerks, laborers, bureaucrats, academics, aristocrats. We'll leave the aristocrats out because meh. I don't believe engineers are considered part of that, are they? Are they? I don't think I saw them listed here. No, I don't. I don't see them listed here. Oh, I forgot about the machinists. Yes, add the machinists to this list. So, I mean, they're all struggling. While this, at the very least, when we looked at the military guys, they're at least at impoverished, so they're a little bit better off. So, you know, we're gonna go for government wages for now. Oh, yes, this. The political wills and desires of the lower classes will always remain an opaque matter. For whatever reason, support for National Guard has spread like wildfire across Austria, spurred on by charismatic speakers and lively debates in small-time social clubs. Public enthusiasm expedites reform. We're already doing pretty damn good. I'm kind of inclined to say maybe we just improve the lower strata pop's opinion of us in Delvidique. Which, okay, now game, now you have me curious as to how this impacts things. So lower strata. How much of these guys are lower strata? Population wise, that's 740,000 people, 20% of whom will become loyalists. I think that's wonderful for us. We're going to go from 23.4 thousand to 171,000 loyalists in Delvidique. That is very helpful for us. Because, of course, yeah, loyalists are helpful because they don't go and fight against you. The more states that we have filled with loyalists, the better for us whenever a revolution inevitably occurs, because a revolution is going to occur. We don't really have any control over that, unfortunately. Oh shit, we actually just got a bit more money as well, even. So let's go to very high wages. That'll improve things even further. Oh, I say that and then we immediately... whoops. I miscalculated. Oh well, we'll survive. We'll be fine. Again, we have a fair reserve. And hey, we're building government administration, so this will help us out with getting money. Admittedly, Bex is not the biggest place. It's really Bohemia where we need to build it, but I'm just, yeah, it's expensive. Yep, as I said, once we got National Guard passed, we were going to go under for bureaucracy, which of course increases our tax waste and government dividends waste, so we're going to be losing even more money for a little while. But once those government administrations are up, that'll help us. This increases the number of battalions that we can mobilize. That's never really going to be an issue for us. The big thing for us is that it decreases political movement radicalism, which helps, decreases revolution and succession progression speed. Although really, I've never found the progression speed to matter so much for succession, because those still go so damn fast in my experience. And conscription rate, which I don't really care for, because I don't really like conscripts. Unfortunately for us, there's a halfway decent chance that at some point we will have a revolution that will force us to go for God, what's that one called? National militia. I hate national militia, just because it significantly hampers the amount of troops that you can have. Because your max barrack size is 5. So we lose a large part of our military just so that we can proceed to have more conscripts. And it's not even really more conscripts. I mean, max conscription limit goes from 50 to 10, or excuse me, 50 to 100. But then I'm dealing with conscripts. Now, granted, I think conscripts actually don't matter in terms of a stat difference. I think they are exactly the same stats-wise. The only difference is conscripts take a little bit longer to finish mobilizing, so you have to raise them up a little bit sooner during the war demands phase. Uh, Again, does it really matter? Probably not. Conscripts over, professional infantry or, professional units probably doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things, and in many ways might actually even be better than the professional troops, because I don't think they eat up as much of the budget when they're not raised. But I think they might negatively impact the economy, because I think it does actually take those units out of the pool once you do mobilize them, and if there's not enough people who can work those newly opened jobs, well, then you've just, decreased your economy. So again, I kind of prefer professional just because they're easier to deal with. And hey, they're already out of the economy in this regard. They're not working as laborers or whatever, and then, being conscripted when necessary type thing. So, yeah, I would much prefer to, if at all possible, not go with conscripts if we can avoid it. Really, really looking forward to when we manage to get those iron mines up in Bohemia. Because we need iron, lots and lots of iron. There's no joke how much iron we need. Proposed investment agreement with Saxony, but I'd have to give them an obligation. Now, there is one thing we can do here. Defensive cooperation here, actually, that I meant to mention before, in the power block. If we get it to level 2, members of the power block cannot start or join wars amongst power block members. Now, maybe it's my interpretation of this, but I would think that that would mean that they could not join the Northern Italian secessionists, which now that if I remember correctly, I believe the name of is San Marino, I believe. Now that I think about it. My experience is that this doesn't actually matter for that. Apparently, secessions, I guess, just completely ignore this mechanic, I guess. Because it literally says cannot start or join wars amongst power block members. So, my interpretation of that is that if I have a succession movement, the Northern Italians, that I would expect that they would not be able to support San Marino in their succession attempt. Unfortunately, from what I can tell, it literally doesn't frickin' matter. And they can still do it, which I think is stupid, personally. But that's just my opinion on it. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's very annoying. It really is. I hate dealing with the Northern Italians here as Austria, but I'm not gonna give up Northern Austria. I will deal with the damn secessionists constantly whenever that inevitably starts being an issue for us, which is probably not too far out, all things considered. But I'm not gonna enjoy it. I'm not gonna enjoy it. I'll deal with it though. Like I said, I'll deal with it. I don't care for it. I do not care for it in the slightest. Get rid of some of those. That'll also give us a bit more bureaucracy back. Now, admittedly, I don't think these government administrations give a whole lot of bureaucracy, and of course they need to actually employ people to finish getting that up. We only have the 2 or artillery foundries, rather. Yeah, we need to get more of those, I think. Oh. Well, that's a shame, because I was kind of looking forward to passing that in the near future. Now I don't think I can pass it. Yeah, no, we don't have an option for it. Oh well. We'll survive, I guess. No, we're gonna lose money on any of those clippers that we try. Oh, okay. The Anti-Austrian League in the Ottoman Empire has disbanded because the following conditions are no longer true. Have you somehow marginalized every single group in your country? That can't be true. Ottomans? That makes no damn sense. Of course, I can't really see all your information enough to be able to tell for certain, but there's no way. These guys must already be members of other groups. Anti-Russian League, Ottoman French Society, Ottoman British League, and the Anti-French League. Oh, so you have a pro-French and an anti-French. Okay. And apparently the guys in charge are anti-French. Okay. No, as the Ottomans, I think it's probably in your best interest to be friends with the British and or the French. If you can get both, great. If you can't, then I'd probably shoot for the British more than the French, personally. Although I think the French have a larger army generally, yeah. But I just find the British more of a pain in the ass to deal with than the French. So I would pick them personally. Oh, here we go. They're back now. They're back. So this would completely remove the Austrian aristocracy's positive opinion of us. Again, though, this will get us Austria-Hungary. Do I necessarily care to form Austria-Hungary? Well, technically, no. Unlike in Vicky 2, however, forming Austria-Hungary does not prevent you from forming Germany. Here, you can form Austria-Hungary and then proceed to go on and form Germany still. Vicky 2, for some stupid reason, if you formed Austria-Hungary in vanilla or basically any of the major mods like HFM and what is it, GFM? I think is the other one. They would generally say, nope, you formed Austria-Hungary, you can no longer form Germany. Why? Why does forming Austria-Hungary prevent me from forming Germany? I don't get it. But here, that's not an issue. So, this is a question of, do we try to pass this now? Again, we will lose all of our goodwill with the Austrian aristocracy, which are currently giving us plus 30 prestige, or plus 30% prestige, and plus 20% influence for what that's worth. I don't really care for either of those. So long as we don't get noble privileges, I'm perfectly happy to piss off the aristocracy, and maybe this weakens the aristocracy a little bit, eh? Maybe it weakens them. Probably not. Probably not. But hey, maybe it does. Now, these guys aren't very radical, which is helpful in some ways. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna go and form Austria-Hungary very early on. Unfortunately, though, this did piss off the Catholic Church enough to where they have activated their pious fiction ability, and this has decreased the education access to all of our pops, which is annoying, actually. Because education is very, very important for us. We are ranked number 44 in the world. Sweden is number one with 57% literacy in their incorporated states. Oh yes, speaking of incorporated states, we shouldn't have any to incorporate, yeah. Thought as much. Let's go ahead and do this. Luckily, because they're not very radical, we shouldn't... well, also, we've not pissed off the aristocracy enough. So we shouldn't have anybody who attempts to, you know, preserve our national supremacy. Current citizenship law. Good vintage of wine. Let's use this to improve our prestige. Thank you. Okay, very quickly move to consideration. Wonderful. If we can get this passed quickly, that'll save us a lot of time. There's our general staff. Now, again, this is where we're going to lose a shit ton of money, because I am going to immediately say start upgrading our troops to skirmish infantry. Oh, okay, we got it. But they're not radical or anything. It's just a, you know, hey, don't pass that. That's fine with me. Here we go. I was waiting for it to pop up. We'll import ammunition from the British and the French. They're the only two people selling ammunition, and it's not quite enough to fill our needs. But we'll survive. We are working now on getting intensive agriculture, which will get us the fertilizer and explosive factories so that we can proceed to actually build the explosives necessary to build percussion or ammunition at the munition plants. Okay, wow, we're moving to adoption already as well, even. Damn, that's a little surprising. I mean, it's fine with me, but it is a little surprising still. Oh shit, yeah, we're losing a shit ton of money because, yeah, God, those are expensive. But we need it. We absolutely need it because it gets us on a level playing field with the Prussians, which is the big thing for us. What's this? Some shopkeepers have expressed opposition to the equal treatment of Slovak people under the cultural exclusion law, announcing that they will refuse them service. Such discrimination is unacceptable, or they can do what they wish with their own business. So this is going to result in a, well, not a setback, but it is going to decrease the enactment success chance, which is a shame because we're on the last freaking part of it. See, it's easy for those politicians to draft their plans for equality and brotherhood, but I have a business to run. If I start letting in the Slovak, I'll lose half of my customers. They're not bigots, you see, just good South German people who are used to things being done a certain way around here. We'll keep doing things that way. Yeah, no. Such discrimination is unacceptable. Of course, part of the reason we're choosing that one is also just because, you know, it decreases the... It's not as big of a hit to the success chance. Now, if somebody else could start building ammunition, that'd be great in the meantime, because goddamn, is it gonna break our bank. We may have to roll back those, budget increases, guys. Public address goes awry. What was meant as a routine speech about the merits of cultural exclusion by Franz Anton von Kollwartz-Lebinsky has quickly devolved into a public relations disaster for the intelligentsia. Fumbling his way through a series of poorly presented talking points, Franz Anton von Kollwartz-Lebinsky's arguments have been viciously and convincingly picked apart by his political opponents. The question on everyone's lips now is merely if this mishap was due to the inherent failings of cultural exclusion or can be chalked up to the political incompetence of the intelligentsia. Well, shit. Well, we'll scrap the current draft and make show of a rewrite. And those other choices I don't think are necessarily better for us in any capacity. We're gonna drop down that so we're not losing quite as much money. In the meantime, let's see what's going on in the world. Well, the U.S. has taken over the Great Suez Nation, so those guys are not going to be around for very long. Great Quinn are existing. They're never really going to do a whole... Oh, shit. Russia, are you invading Persia? Oh no, you're not. Wait, you're not? Oh, you are. Never mind. You're supporting Herat here, and you are looking for a treaty port in Fars. Why? I feel like that's just weird for you to be wanting a treaty port there. At least right now. Maybe down the road it could make sense, but right now? In 1839? You realize you don't have a good way of getting to it, right? You literally have to sail out from the Black Sea, out through the Bosphorus, the Strait of Bosphorus here, or the Strait of Constantinople, rather, excuse me. Out into the Mediterranean, out into the Atlantic, down around Africa, and then back up here. Why the hell would you want to take that right now? It'd be one thing if we had the Suez, but that's not happening anytime soon. And I'm going to be the one to build it. And then it's going to just lose us money because it never, ever, ever employs enough people. Okay, there's our cultural exclusion and the dual monarchy. We have reached accommodation with the Hungarian people. After centuries of unbalanced rule, they will now play an equal role in an Austria-Hungarian state. If only the Kaiser could see reason, he would understand that the union of Austria and Hungary will benefit both parties. Austria can be assured Hungarian elites, now satisfied with their place at court, will loyally serve the empire. Austria and Hungary are united. So Hungarian becomes a primary culture of Austria. Plus 20% of Hungarian pops in Austria become more loyalists. And Austrian aristocracy loses the Austrian hegemonist ideology. Oh, ho, ho, ho. So they will no longer oppose cultural exclusion and multiculturalism, or racial segregation, and they will no longer endorse ethno-state and national supremacy. Wonderful. I don't really care for that. Also, out of curiosity, population census. How many people do we have in our country who are Hungarian? 6.11 million Hungarians, and 20% of them will become more loyalist. So we're going to go from 60.2 thousand Hungarian loyalists in our country to 1.7 million. Or excuse me, 1.07 million. Oh, our loyalists have overtaken the radicals as a whole in the country. That's wonderful for us. And here we go, we become Austria-Hungary. This sort of brown, and I don't really care for the color, to be completely honest, though it's probably the best color to use for Austria-Hungary, admittedly. I still don't like the color, though. But gonna help us out a little. Oh, small arms. We can buy small arms from people. That'll help us out a little bit when it comes to money. Nobody else sells ammunition still. But we can buy clippers from the French. Hopefully that'll help us save. Oh, nope, shit. I feel like that actually just made us lose more money, actually. Oh well. That's a shame. We'll survive. Like I said, we're going to be losing money for large parts of this campaign. The reality is, money is very hard for us. We can't do it right now. There's a... I mean, I would say it's probably a bit of exploiting, but it's also in some ways historical. You could, if you wanted to, for a country, if you wanted to just absolutely cripple them and make them a protectorate in the future, what you would do is demand investment rights. Go to war with them, or just get investment rights somehow peacefully, or through war, either way, whichever one works best. And then just build a bunch of railroads. They will go bankrupt because the AI automatically subsidizes railroads. Granted, I as the player typically subsidize them as well in some ways because they pretty much never make money, which I feel is weird. Railroads should probably be making money in this game, but they just never seem to. But nonetheless, the AI always subsidizes them, and as a result, they inevitably go bankrupt, lose tons of money, blah blah blah. Increases the chance of revolutions occurring. When a revolution occurs in one of these countries, you can just call up the rebels, or, you know, the official government, whichever one you want to support, and say, hey guys, I'll join you and help you win your war if you become my protectorate. Basically, 0 prestige penalty or infamy penalty for doing that. Literally, the only infamy you would have paid basically would be for the investment rights, which is very little. Should that probably change? Maybe. Thing is, you can't really do it with all countries, because not all countries are going to actually have it. Or, you know, be willing to become your protectorate no matter what. But when it comes to these smaller countries, like, say, if I wanted to do it to Switzerland, yeah, pretty much guaranteed it would work against them. Oh, there we go. Starting to get those damn Italian unification guys. That sucks. But we're not discriminating against you guys anymore. See? We don't discriminate against you. Jesus Christ, 14% cultural turmoil. God damn. Yeah, that's something we're gonna have to deal with. It's gonna be a while, though. We are still losing bureaucracy. I'm gonna actually kick this up to 5 speed for a little bit because we don't have a whole lot going on right now. It'll get these government administrations out of the way a little bit faster. Finish off that iron mine because that one's almost done. Well, Belgium was improving relations with us. That's okay. Let's see. A mine in Tyrol has collapsed. This is an outrageous abuse of the common man and cannot continue. Karl Ludwig von Fickelmont once, or well, we say he's, you know, Oh no, he actually is. The landowners are demanding a promotion for him. Sure, he can have a promotion. That's fine with me. It's acceptable. There we go. Yep. Still need a lot more iron, though. Screw frigates. We'll deal with that later. Oh, corporate charter. Jesus. Okay. I'll take it, though. I'm perfectly fine with that. And we're going to take Austro-Hungarian Gold Incorporated. Because I want that plus 5% minting. Because that's more money. Minting is a decent chunk of how we get money. In fact, it brings in a lot more money than frickin' income does, or our taxes do, actually. So, yeah. Well, actually, that's not true. Taxes are actually bringing in quite a lot, actually, really. $117K on medium taxes? Yeah. But again, minting brings in quite a lot. So we're gonna take that. Thank you very much. I want that. Mechanical tools. That'll help us because that'll decrease the cost of tools. And shocker, we need lots of tools. Oh, we forgot to switch these guys to general training. This will help us out with getting more servicemen and officers, mostly servicemen, or excuse me, officers actually, but that's fine. But here we go. Precision tools. Yep, I don't care if you guys are going to lose money on it. Do it anyway. You guys switch to slaughterhouses. You guys are not going to switch to steamships because you're going to lose money. Or actually, you require engines which we don't even have. We're going to switch those guys to sulfate pulping. It'll decrease the cost of paper because we'll produce a lot more paper. Those aren't going to change yet either. Textile mills, dye workshops. I like how luxury goods or luxury clothes are so damn cheap. Look at that. They're 24.6. I guess across the nation. I'd have to actually double check that. It's cheaper to buy luxury clothes than it is to buy normal clothes. That doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense, but I assume it's because of the consumption tax. People say, I don't want to buy luxury clothes. Now, we don't actually have dyes, I don't think, at all, so we're going to have to do something for that. But here's our tooling workshop, the main one we wanted. We have our steel mill here. Oh no, we actually haven't built it yet. Well, we're still going to go ahead and do this change anyway. Tooling workshop. Game actually claims this is going to increase the predicted average weekly balance and productivity, even though we don't have steel. But we'll survive, I'm sure. Let's also switch these things. We need to decrease the cost of grain if we can. Grain is so damn expensive. I think you guys have gone up a little bit. I think you were at 10.1 at game start, or when we looked last part. You're now at 10.4, so good for you guys. We need to import some steel for a while, but we'll survive that. We don't... Well, you might need to import sulfur, but the big thing I think for our sulfur is that our current mine isn't employing anybody because they didn't have any orders, so they didn't see a reason to employ people. They will now hopefully proceed to actually employ people, and so I won't have to import sulfur. But we'll wait, we'll watch, see how this goes. Let you guys hire people normally. Somebody exiled from Oldenburg. And the Ottoman Empire. And the French Republic has formed their new power bloc, the United Front. Jesus Christ, sulfur is expensive right now as you're trying to build up. There you go. Now technically you need to build more. You need to be built up more, but I think that's fine for now. Oh, and I think we're getting the minting bonus now. Yep, there we go. I mean, it's 5%. It's not, you know, significant, but every little bit helps. You guys want racial segregation now. It actually piss off the intelligentsia, so we're not going to do that. Why would I change that now? That makes zero sense to me. East Slovakia. Are you on this list, East Slovakia? East Slovakia is not on our list of unrealized taxes. I would love to annex you guys, but I should get an event in the future that'll let me do it without need to do it this way. Oh. We have a dye factory in Venetia? I didn't realize. No, we have a textile mill. We don't have a dye factory. Or, excuse me, a dye plantation, rather. You guys shouldn't be producing any dyes. Are you somehow producing dyes? No. You consume it, yeah, that makes sense. This is a little bit weird of an event in my opinion, but okay. We're gonna say that they shall not have died in vain. Ha ha ha. We're terrible people making a pun about people dying in a dye factory. But I guess it is on the tin can. Let's get that iron mine in Bohemia up and operational, so we can further decrease the cost of iron. Then we can focus on getting that steel mill in Styria. Or Styria, I don't... Styre? We'll go Styre. Probably not right. But it's probably less wrong than what I was saying before. And we'll get that steel mill up. This will help us out when it comes to producing steel in our country, which will get us more monies, which is always helpful. Oh, you've pissed off the French. Wonderful. Oh, here we go. The Egyptian-Ottoman crisis. This is what we've been waiting for. Well, not really. But nonetheless, we got it. The Ottoman Empire's attempt to take back control of the Levant from Egypt has become an international incident. Our involvement may tip the balance of power in the region. At 30 minutes past midday came the messenger with a single wax-sealed envelope. Chill winds followed in his stumbling, breathless gait. Every other general and advisor gathered round the Kaiser cried for decorum. The messenger brought it forward, with a choking gasp about its origin. Egypt. The Ottomans were coming for Egypt. We can either say we need to keep a close eye on the region, we'll declare an interest in Arabia, or we can say, I don't care. No, we're going to say we need to keep an eye on the region, clearly. This way, Egypt can invite us to join. And if Egypt invites us to join, then really, Egypt? Really? Okay, sure. So Egypt has had an anti-Austro-Hungarian league form. Right as we're saying We need to keep an eye on the region. Great job, Egypt. That's... maybe you shouldn't be doing that, because that potentially discourages me if I really didn't want to help you. But I do. The reality is, I do want to help you. Unless I can get a good deal out of the Ottomans, which probably isn't going to be the case, because I don't think they're going to be willing to help me. With us being rivals and all. And the question, though, is what do we want to take from this crisis? We could take Montenegro just so we can finish it off. We don't got to worry about taking it later. It gets some logging camps and lead mines. Logging camps are helpful because we need the wood, but I don't really care too much for the lead mines, if I'm completely honest with you. And the rest of the stuff doesn't matter too much. Livestock ranches, we got plenty of that. Vineyards, plenty of those. Wheat farms, plenty of those too. We could maybe demand that Egypt forces the Ottomans to hand Moldavia over to us. As a reminder, both are useful, though I will say Wallachia is a bit more useful to us than Moldavia. Wallachia has coal mines, iron mines, sulfur mines, and logging camps. All four are very helpful. Moldavia only has iron mines and logging camps, both very helpful. But in the grand scheme of things, the coal mines and sulfur mines that Wallachia provides as well are significantly more useful. We could also, if we really wanted to, take Serbia, but I don't really care to take Serbia. The only thing we got going for us is we don't got to worry about an archduke being shot down the road. It's not going to be a problem for us. You know, so we're not going to get World War I. Well, not as it historically happened. We will maybe get a big war of some sort. Probably not. But we could. We could. But probably not. But I think we're going to go ahead and end this part here. We're at a little over 50 minutes. So yeah, next part we will see what we end up doing regarding the... God, I believe this is this crisis is called the Orient Crisis or something like that. It's blanking on me. But nonetheless, we're gonna... next part, figure out what we want to do once it pops up, and Egypt probably is going to be the one to ask us to support them, and they'll probably give us something I don't care for. So we'll need to decline that and then actually tell them what we want. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to want to, if the game will let me, I'm going to say, I want you to make the Ottomans hand Wallachia to us. Besides, they're a very similar shade of brown to us. They might as well be part of our country, don't you think? Yeah, so, I mean, Wallachia just seems like the obvious choice. We can take Montenegro later to finish off taking it. Now, the other option, of course, is to demand that they release Bosnia and Herzegovina. But I think that just gets us releasing Bosnia here as a state, which has iron mines and logging camps and lead mines, so it's not super useful. It's basically Moldavia, but just a bit bigger. Actually smaller in population. But a little bit bigger in GDP. The only advantage really of Moldavia is that we already own part of Moldavia. We could also say release Bulgaria. Bulgaria is a fun one because they take a lot of stuff. They take Bulgaria and Northern Thrace, and I think that might actually be it. Don't think Bulgaria takes the Brubja, or however it's pronounced, when you demand that they release the country. Although it is a homeland for the Bulgarians, but I don't think this gets released when you release Bulgaria. So Bulgaria gets us logging camps, and Northern Thrace gets us logging camps and iron mines. Not super useful for us in terms of market. But it does significantly hurt the Ottomans. These are 5% a pop of their total GDP as a country. Taking both of these is gonna hurt. But us as the player, it's not super beneficial. I really think that realistically we're gonna demand that we get Wallachia as a protectorate. I think it's most useful. And then we'll peacefully integrate Wallachia into the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Or maybe Germany by then. I don't know. We'll see. It just kind of depends on how this goes. But I'll see you all next time. Until then, goodbye and farewell.